The movie begins in Tokyo, with police chasing a criminal whose wanted posters are everywhere. The criminal takes a random girl hostage on a crowded street, but suddenly suffers a heart attack and dies. The next day, the deputy director of foreign affairs collapses and dies of a heart attack while surrounded by reporters. A congressman accused of murder is released due to lack of evidence, but he too dies of a heart attack amidst reporters. Over the following days, more criminals die suddenly from heart attacks, even in their cells. As police and media recognize the pattern, they nickname the mysterious killer Kira, derived from the Japanese word for killer. Public opinion is divided. Some support Kira for reducing crime, while others believe no one should play God. Some religious groups think it's God's judgment on sinners. One night, a newscast reports a man has taken hostages at a financial company. Light sees the criminal's name and picture on TV, writes it in his notebook, and moments later, the criminal dies of a heart attack. The next day, Light and his girlfriend Shiori discuss Kira at college. Shiori opposes Kira and believes in the law, saying Light will help people fairly as a lawyer. Light, however, has lost faith in the law. He recently hacked into the police system and found many cases where criminals went unpunished. To see for himself, he went to a bar where he overheard criminals bragging about their crimes. When they noticed Light staring, they threatened him with a knife, confident they wouldn't be caught. Shiori is disgusted by the story, but Light doesn't reveal the ending. After leaving the bar, Light threw his law book away in frustration with the system. Nearby, he found a mysterious notebook labeled Death Note. He took it home and read the first page, which claimed that writing someone's name in the notebook would cause their death. Thinking it was a joke, Light wrote the name of a murderer he saw on the news. The next morning, he was shocked to find the murderer had died. Initially, he thought it was a coincidence, but later he saw the criminal from the bar and decided to test it again. Light wrote the man's name in the notebook and watched as he died of a heart attack. Realizing the notebook's power, Light read the other rules. The notebook worked only if the writer visualized the person's face, and if no cause of death was specified within 40 seconds, the person would die of a heart attack. Afterward, Light encountered a terrifying creature named Ryuk, a Grin Reaper. Only those who touched the notebook could see him. Ryuk revealed he dropped the notebook to see what a human would do with it, and Light could use it freely. Light vowed to use the Death Note to create a world without crime. 4 months later, the police are still investigating the Kira case with no leads. One of the detectives is Soichiro, Light's father. Desperate for clues, the police agree to work with L, a mysterious genius who communicates through a laptop handled by his butler. L analyzed the global pattern of mysterious deaths and concluded that Kira is in Japan. To prove it, he devises a plan with the cops. Later, Light watches a special broadcast where a detective claims he has enough evidence to catch Kira. Light writes the detective's name in the Death Note, and the man dies on live TV. Suddenly, L's logo appears on the screen, revealing the broadcast was a trap. The detective was a death row criminal, and the broadcast was only in Japan to confirm Kira's location. L promises to catch Light and give him the death sentence. Light wants to retaliate but lacks L's name or face, making him powerless. Ryuk offers Light the ability to see people's names and lifespans with his Reaper eyes, but Light refuses as it costs half his remaining lifespan. The next day, L tells the police that the timing of the deaths matches a college schedule, indicating Kira is a college student who doesn't kill during classes. Light continues hacking into the police system to stay updated on their investigation. When he learns their conclusions, he remembers the notebook's rules allow him to specify the time and cause of death. He writes down several deaths to occur throughout the day to cover his tracks. Seeing this, L concludes there is an information leak within the police force and begins investigating all the cops and their families. A few days later, while walking with Ryuk, Light notices someone following him. Ryuk reveals that this person has been tailing Light for 2 days, but he didn't mention it earlier because he must remain neutral. Later, Light and Shiori are on a bus when Light notices a man following them. He confronts the man, who denies knowing anything. Suddenly, a wanted criminal hijacks the bus. Light wants to help, so he writes a note saying he will tackle the hijacker. The man behind him, revealing himself as FBI agent Raye, warns Light of the danger and shows his badge. The hijacker notices the note, which is written on a piece of the Death Note, allowing him to see Ryuk. Panicking, he fires his gun, but the bullets pass through Ryuk harmlessly. Terrified, the criminal runs out of the bus and gets hit by a car, dying instantly. Light had planned this, writing the events in the Death Note to kill the criminal and learn the agent's identity. Now, aware the police are looking for the information leaker, Light wants to kill Raye, but knows it would make him a prime suspect. He decides to first gather the identities of all FBI agents connected to the case. Later, Raye says goodbye to his fiancée, Naomi, after abruptly canceling their plans. Suspicious, Naomi follows him onto the subway. Raye picks up an envelope left for him, containing paper sheets and a radio. Light, speaking through the radio with a distorted voice, claims to be Kira. When Raye asks for proof, Light kills a criminal sitting next to Raye. Light then threatens to kill all the passengers unless Raye follows his instructions. Raye accesses the police database on his laptop and copies the names and profiles of the FBI agents involved in the case onto the paper sheets. All the FBI agents die simultaneously, and after seeing Ryuk reflected in the window, Raye exits the train and dies of a heart attack. Naomi rushes to him, but it's too late. Light, watching from another train car, smirks as he retrieves the envelope, revealing the papers he gave Raye were pages from the Death Note. At the police station, Soichiro informs the team that Kira is now killing agents, putting everyone at risk. He allows anyone to leave without consequences. Most officers leave, but few remain to help. The remaining team demands to meet L in person. Their request is granted, and they meet L, who is surprisingly young. L explains that Kira can manipulate the time and cause of death, but needs the victim's name. He advises everyone to use fake names. L reviews security footage from the subway and notices Raye pointed at someone before dying. He tells the team their families will be monitored for a week as suspects. Meanwhile, it's revealed Naomi, who was once an FBI agent and worked with L, seeks justice for Raye. She investigates the bus incident and learns details from the driver. Suspecting Light, she confronts him at college, but he denies any involvement. Naomi admits she gave him a fake name to prove his guilt. Returning home, Light finds pencil leads he placed on his door on the floor, indicating someone entered his room. He ignores Ryuk's comments and focuses on his homework, growing increasingly annoyed with the Reaper. Later, while out for a walk, Light tells Ryuk his room is likely bugged. He's right, and L and the cops are watching his room 24/7. For days, nothing happens. Eventually, a criminal dies under mysterious circumstances. Soichiro thinks it's proof, but L insists they need to wait for the death of a recently caught criminal. A few days later, Light goes to his room after dinner with a bag of chips, which he eats while studying. During a newscast about a criminal case, the criminal dies of a heart attack. Soichiro is relieved, thinking this proves Light's innocence, and L reluctantly agrees to remove the cameras, though still suspicious. The next day, Ryuk confirms there are no more bugs. Light reveals his trick. He hid a tiny TV and a piece of the Death Note inside the bag of chips, writing the name while appearing to eat. Later, Naomi calls L, saying she has the evidence they need. Meanwhile, Light goes to an art gallery for his date with Shiori, only to find Naomi holding her hostage. Naomi demands Light confess to being Kira, but he denies it and pleads for Shiori's life. Desperate, Naomi reveals her real name, hoping Light will kill her. Light grabs a pen while L watches through security cameras. The police arrive, distracting Naomi and allowing Shiori to free herself and run to Light. In a panic, Naomi accidentally shoots Shiori instead of Light. Shiori dies in Light's arms, and feeling guilty, Naomi uses her gun to take her own life, reuniting with Raye. Afterward, Ryuk asks Light about Shiori, noticing he isn't sad and has been acting. Light reveals this was part of his plan to clear his name. He discovered Naomi's name by investigating Raye's engagement and finding the church they reserved. He then manipulated her actions, including shooting the gun and taking her own life. He also wrote that Shiori would be nearby and killed by a gunshot, knowing the Death Note would connect the deaths. Even Ryuk is disgusted by Light's coldness. With his name cleared, Light pretends to be very upset and eager to catch the criminal behind Shiori's death. Since Light has helped the police before, Soichiro agrees to let him assist with this case too. Light is then introduced to L, who meets him, while eating from the same type of bag of chips Light used in his plan. Meanwhile, a celebrity named Misa is fleeing from a crazy coworker who is obsessed with her. Suddenly, the coworker dies of a heart attack, and Misa finds a death note on the ground. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.